I'll give you. Let me give you a little background uh, before we go live here.
Oh, hold on a second. Everybody can hear you. So give me just 1 second. Let me get my music going.
So everybody else is 20 hertz, 3 channels. I'm going to 40, which will push all these people to 11 if they want
Oh yeah,
and we're minus 30 dB.
yeah. I know how it works.
Literally, it's called the old bubble tube.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. I'm trying to get Alex on the horn here. All right. We're gonna get started in about 3 minutes here. We'll be right back. Bathroom break and water break.
Jack, if you'll give me your address, I'll send you a keyboard.
What?
That
No,
sounds
Tony, I'm okay.
so bad. That sounds so bad.
No, I'm okay. You still eventually send me a new health brain or something like that.
I'd send you a
Oh,
keyboard
is that-
with. I'd send you a keyboard with a keylogger in it. Sorry.
I just want to send him one that's quiet. And he types with a hammer in each hand. I've only been giving him hell about that keyboard for a year now.
All right. Well, Alex is nowhere to be found, guys. So we're just gonna go ahead and get this party started. So yeah, my special guest today on Way to the Game. Well, we have two. One usually everybody knows Alex or Killer Whale joins us. This week is supposed to be Alex, and he's supposed to join us for the discussion part of the show and the question part. But he's not online just of yet, so he's probably in between places. And my other guest is Tony. And Tony, if you'd like to introduce yourself as far as what your background as far as Fishing Planet goes, and anything else you'd like to say, go ahead.
Hey everybody, my name is Tony. In game, I'm bass, 15 pounds. I'm Bill Gates' son, and everyone in the stream is going to get $10 million. Okay, Pink Panther, there you go. That's what you wanted to hear. You heard it. So on a serious note, I've been playing the game since, I guess, the first week or second week maybe of the original closed beta almost a year ago. I think at level 23 now. I've been to level 21. What is it now, Jack? 3 times we've had to start over?
Yeah, no, 4 times.
Four times, okay. And we just started, and I started over on another account that I'm at level 15 on. So I know my way around the game a little.
Okay, so you know your way around the game. What about any real life experience?
Okay, I lost you there.
Oh, okay. Did I interrupt you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you said what about, and that's the last thing I heard.
Oh, I said. Okay, we understand that you got a good idea about the game. What about real life experience?
How far back you want to go?
I mean, obviously, from what Jack told me, you've been fishing for 100 years, blah blah blah. But I'm saying, like, tell us, like, I don't know, some achievements that you've done in real life fishing, if you got any. I'm sure you do.
Well, the name says one of them.
Okay.
My largest largemouth bass is a 15-pound one. I've caught several between 10 and 15, and I couldn't tell you within 500 how many I've caught between 8 and 9.
Okay.
I fished professionally for 12 years. Not only did I fish tournaments in 12 years, I was also a fishing guide and carried other people fishing.
Nice.
Prior to starting guiding, I spent some 20 years fishing in Florida, in the Everglades. Oh God, there's so many lakes in Florida, but it's ridiculous. But
Sure.
I fished a lot of them.
Even some of the guys I know that have been fishing a long time in my chat. So that's awesome. And has it been fun? You've had fun, right? That's all that matters, right, Tony?
Yes, yep, that's what it's all about, is fun. And I'm going to tell you this, with all you guys that are thinking how great it would be to guide for a living. Um, it was fun the first 10 years, but after a while, you get tired of babysitting Yankees. And when it starts to not be fun, it's time to start doing something else.
Absolutely. Well, most of the guys, I would say the majority of the guys know my resume, but this is pretty much the first time you and I are talking. So my resume is kind of the opposite of yours is as far as Fishing Planet and fishing goes. So my overall, and some of the guys I know that have been fishing a long time in my chat. So that's awesome. And has it been fun? You've had fun, right? That's all that matters, right, Tony?
Yes, yep, that's what it's all about is fun. And I'm going to tell you this, with all you guys that are thinking how great it would be to guide for a living, it was fun the first 10 years, but after a while you get tired of babysitting Yankees. And when it starts to not be fun, it's time to start doing something else.
Absolutely. Well, most of the guys, I would say the majority of the guys know my resume, but this is pretty much the first time you and I are talking. So my resume is kind of the opposite of yours is as far as Fishing Planet and fishing goes. So my overall fishing experience, barely holds a candle to what you've done. I've fished Montana, Idaho, Washington, Canada, Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, PA, and that's pretty much all the places I've been ever. I've been to South Carolina, but I don't think I ever fished in South Carolina. And I've been, I think that's pretty much it. And I've done fly fishing and sea fishing, and I fished the same river where they made a river runs through it. I don't know if you're familiar with that movie, but it's one of my favorites. It's the Bull River in Montana. I fished that. I talk about it because it's one of my favorite spots to fish that I've ever fished. But like I said, my experience to you in the fishing world is, small. For one, I'm only 32, so I haven't been on the planet as long as you. I'd like to increase my fishing experience as I go and progress through life. Right now, I own my own gaming center, and I'm focused on that right now. I'm about to have a daughter, so fishing has been very much back burner here recently. Plus, I've been devoting a lot of time to Fishing Planet. Where I got you on is probably gaming experience. Even though you've been on the planet longer than I have, I was a professional gamer when I was 18. Obviously, I've been gaming since I was 4, but you were talking about being a professional fisherman. Well, I've been a professional gamer pretty much damn near all my adult life, which is what led me to opening my own gaming center. And I never thought I'd like a game like Fishing Planet, but the truth is it's a great love of me liking it in real life, and me being absolutely bonkers over gaming, and that's why I'm still playing it today, and that's why I have this show, and that's why I do what I do. The reason I started streaming in the first place was because I would come online, people would see me catching fish, and they'd ask me, how'd you do this, or how are you doing that, or whatever. And instead of typing, because I'm not the best typer in the world, especially when I'm trying to play a game, I said, why don't I just stream this and show people, this is how you do it. I want to help you out. And that's how my channel grew. And since summer last year, I think, is when I actually started streaming the game. I had been playing it for a month or two before that. But so yeah, that's my background on the whole thing. And there's two things that we're going to talk about today on major points. One is what the community kind of wants to see in the game that is not on the roadmap. Currently, we don't have really an updated roadmap, but we have kind of what the devs want to see. And I ask everybody for the past week, is there anything that you want to see in the game that's not on the roadmap that, is kind of feasible? Not like crazy, insane ideas, but, stuff that maybe could happen. And there are a couple crazy ideas in here, but I just wanted to go over this list, and I wish Alex was here. I don't know. Let me check my Skype real quick. Because Alex is really the one that needs to hear this.
He's offline on Skype too.
No, he's away.
Yeah, he's away.
I just send a message to him, so probably he will come. He promised me to be here, but probably he's somewhere between office and home.
Yeah, exactly. I really don't want to go over this stuff twice. Son of a bitch. All right, well, let's just start talking about it. So the first thing on the list was we wanted to know what the team learned from unlocking Michigan, and that's obviously directly for Alex. So we'll skip that. We have more fish shelter, which that was from True Light, and I think he's 100% right about just more stuff in the water where the fish could be living, or make it more apparent that there's stuff in the water. Besides the couple little things that we have. Leaderboards sorted into species. I think this is a big one for a lot of people, because they want the leaderboards to be more finite, so that they can, really, really, really narrow down and see and compare fish. We got more realistic water effects, like white caps and such like that. Like on the if the wind is at a certain miles per hour, we'd get white caps and things. Fish knowledge books. I guess that's like more than what you could find on, or more catered to Fishing Planet than what you could find on Google. Tackle as gifts, which we can already send gifts in the game, but we can't send tackle yet. Someone was asking about a scalable HUD, which I think is pretty interesting, especially being a streamer. I want to be able to do as much as I can with the HUD to show off the data that I want to show off, and not show off the data that I don't want to show off. And right now I can cover it up with a camera, or I can do something like that, but being able to manipulate the HUD in size and whatnot, that's pretty important to people. We got a recombobulator, which is like you take your old tackle and whatnot that you don't want to sell or throw away, and you can throw it in a machine and it will spit out a new piece. That's a little arcadey, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun. More finite bobber sizes, which I would say is coming. Right now, the sport bobber is absolutely useless. A favorite bait or lure quick swap wheel. So this is from my buddy Fennel in the chat, and I thought this was a really, really good idea. So there's a lot of games, especially shooters and whatnot, that have a hotkey that you can hold down and then change the whatever the selection is, handgun, whatever, very, very quickly. It brings up a wheel, and then you can use your mouse to kind of select it. And I thought that was pretty cool. You put 6 or 8 of your favorite baits on there, and you hold down a button, and you change it instead of going into the menu, waiting for it to load. And I know they're doing menu improvements and whatnot to make things more responsive, but that quick wheel would be an easy way to do that. Cast from anywhere on shore. Now, everybody knows, well, most people know that you can do that in the game right now through a little manipulation glitch. But, why not? Why can't we just do it, regularly? I think it doesn't break the game at all currently. Here's one for Tony. Guided fishing trips by other expert players and or AI. And I think that was when the person made this comment, they were thinking maybe some of the higher level players taking the lower level players out on the boat, because we all know that boats will be high level. And this is like more than just like a multiplayer aspect. This is you're taking them out, maybe loaning them gear or something to give them the ability to catch big fish. Flyover tutorials explaining the locations on lakes. I really like this. Right now, we have an overhead, panoramic picture with, different pegs and whatnot. Well, I think it would be really, really awesome if we clicked on that peg or we clicked around the map and it zoomed in and there was a voice that talked to us, or more data than just a brief description of what could possibly be there. I want more in detailed stuff, and that will also help less knowledgeable players. Another one from Flannel, as we call him, personal watercrafts, which I think they talked about, but I think he was talking more like kayaks and like floating tubes and stuff like that. Moving while reeling in. This is has been a really hot topic for a lot of people. A lot of people want to be able to catch a fish and move with the fish while they're on shore. And I know, Tony, you can say that's 100% necessary in a lot of situations. Topographic maps for the lake bottom, so we can know what the lake bottom looks like. Often you can go to a waterway and buy these prior to going fishing, so that you know where the deep parts are if you don't have a depth finder, whatever. I think that would be a nice step in between us, because we know we're getting fish finders. So that would be a nice, in between step of here's a topographic map, and then later on you'll get a fish finder, or you can use both in congruency. A better overall skybox. So right now, the skybox is just a picture, it's stagnant, there's no moving weather, there's no dynamic anything. So someone was looking to, have a better overall skybox, as long as it doesn't threaten frames per second. More customizable profiles, and I hadn't even thought about this because I don't ever look at anyone else's profile, but it is very plain and drab right now. So I don't know what they were looking for as far as the customization of that, but I'm sure they could do something cool with that. More weather conditions, we went over that. Actual photo of the fish on the leaderboards, I don't know about that. More creatures in the environment. So I absolutely, was it you, Jack, that said you wanted more creatures in the environment?
No.
Oh, somebody did. I don't remember who it was.
No, it wasn't me.
Okay, somebody did, and I 100% agree. As long as it doesn't affect frames per second, I want to see alligators. I want to see more birds. I want to see fish jumping. I want to see fish pooling. I want to see snakes, deer, whatever it may be. I want to see that kind of stuff because it makes me feel more immersed in the environment. And then how this all started was an idea that I had. That I had shared with everybody, and that was, we were talking about something that Alex had mentioned was like customizable stuff, like changing the color of things and maybe making your own lure colors and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, how would you do that in game? How would that translate? And that would be a tool bench, right? So you go home and you got your backpack tab, you got your home tab, and then maybe you have another tab next to that where it looks like a tool bench, and you take an item and you drag it in there, and then it would bring it up in like a 3D model, and you'd be able to drag and drop, or see all the things that you could do to it, and some of the things maybe you aren't unlocked yet, or maybe you didn't purchase, or whatever, however they go about it. But you could change the color of your rod, and then you could add stripes, or you could change the color of your crankbait, change the pattern on it, or draw on it yourself, or something, really, really dynamic. They could do a lot of things. Change the hooks, the hook orientation on your cranks, and these are all just, basic examples of what you could do. And yeah, that's pretty much all the ideas. I think I got them all.
I didn't see anything on that list about Texas rigs or Carolina rigs.
Yeah, okay.
That's needed.
Right.
Horribly bad.
Right. So when you go in to one of the things on the tool bench was when you go in, you could orient your hook the way you wanted, Tony, and also you could change the orientation of the way the hook is going into the bait. So people want to be able to, hook a shiner a certain way, or large cut a certain way, and that would be one of the things. Also, the tool bench would allow you to cut bait a certain way. So if you caught a golden shiner, a bunch of golden shiners, or a bunch of shiners, period, you take them onto the tool bench and you say, I want to make these large cut, I want to make these small cut, I want to do horizontal cuts on these, or whatever it may be. All the different ways we can cut the bait up would be available there. So it's more of, man, I got to take my fish home, I got to get it on the tool bench, I got to cut it up a little bit, instead of just clicking and making it happen. Is a little bit more immersive there. So yeah, you got anything else? Anything else for us, Tony, besides that?
Well, the contour maps are a big thing. Drop shot rigs. There's some things that they don't have in any lake here right now that need to be, simply because right now it's a U.S. based game.
Right.
All the lakes are here. I have never in my life put a worm on a jig. Never.
Right.
I'm sure that some people do. I'm sure they're used that way. But we either Texas rig or Carolina rig everything. And of course, then Drop Shot came out a few years ago, and that got real big. Now the what they call that damn thing, the Alabama rig.
Alabama, yeah.
The umbrella thing. I'm not sure about that, although I can say that a long, long time ago, I did make a rig that I could throw 2 spinner baits on the same line, which was a hell of a lot of fun. You had fish schooling. But yeah, that's some of the things. You had some good points there, especially the contour maps, topographical maps, you call them.
Yeah.
The contour maps.
Super important.
Right. Super top of the list important. Okay.
Yeah.
And for a reason. If you're going to learn to fish, you got to learn where the fish are.
Right.
And if you're going to learn where the fish are, a contour map is absolutely a must-have.
Right.
Fish hold on every fish. I don't care what kind of fish it is. In the predator line, you got 2 kinds of fish: predators, okay, and you got bottom feeders.
Right.
Predators are gonna hold on structure. I don't care whether it's in a farm pond or the Pacific Ocean. Makes no difference.
Right.
They are gonna relate to structure.
Right.
And right now, we have no way of knowing what's under the water.
Right. Yeah. Unless oh God, let's not get into that part yet. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We have no idea what's down there besides the little indications of what we see on the surface or something sticking up. Like, obviously, we go to North Carolina, we got a car in the fucking water, half stuck out, and we got two trees and some rocks, and that's about the best we get. When we go to Michigan, and we got nothing. We got some lily pads and a boat. No other. Buoys. I guess people use the buoys as markers, but I mean, buoys don't count in my book. fish. I guess the fish do live around buoys, but nothing I'm fishing for live around buoys. So,
Well, actually, that's not quite true.
Bait.
Small baits hang around the buoy.
right, exactly. Bait. Yeah, I'm glad you
And
said.
but where there's bait, have you done a lot of saltwater fishing?
No, I done a lot of trolling mostly.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. A 4x8 sheet of plywood laying on the water, floating around out there, or a half sheet of plywood, or a dang 6-foot 4x4 for that matter, it would amaze you how many fish are in the shadow
Right.
of that piece of plywood or 4x4. See, a fish is not a real smart thing. If he's got his eyes are on each side of his head, most species, okay? And if he's turned the right way, one side is in the shadow of his body.
Right.
If he gets that other eye in a shadow, as far as the fish is concerned, his whole body's hid.
Right.
I've caught a tournament limit of fish off of one bulrush, and if nobody knows what a bulrush is, it could be at the base, it could be big around as a quarter, maybe even an old one be big around as a $50, and then it's a hard, firm reed that goes straight up and gets smaller as it goes up. I've caught a tournament limit, and back then it was 10 fish instead of 5. I've caught a tournament limit off of one reed.
Right.
That's all they need is to get one eye in the shade. The other eye is already in the shade from their body.
Right. And that makes them feel invisible.
Yep, as far as they're concerned, they got a hidey hole to ambush prey as it comes by.
Right. Well, everybody knows the game is nowhere near that level of detail yet. I guess you and I are just going to get into this discussion without Alex being here because I just don't know when he's showing up, and I don't want to delay. Let's see, we're at 5:30 already, and I like the show to go on for about an hour and a half. So, I guess we'll just get into it. So, my structure behind this argument was I wanted to hear your side of things as far as the game goes. Jack had sent me something that you had wrote up, and instead of me reading it out loud, I'm just going to have you on here to talk about it. And then I was going to give my side, and then we were going to hear Alex's side after he heard both of our sides. So that was kind of the structure of, how this is going to go, or how this was going to go. But with Alex being MIA, with no word, kind of salty about this right now. But anyway, why don't you give us your philosophies and your thoughts on the game so far, and we'll see how many of those I agree with or disagree with.
Tony, just a minute, please. I take 2 minutes from your time. I was talking with Alex a little bit early about the near future development of the game, and I can give you two things. First of all, what you're talking about, structures, hotspots in the game, certain lures, certain places and certain times will be history in a couple of days. That's the big news that will come with next week update. So you have to think now to catch a serious fish. Like you have to consider the weather conditions. Now the weather will matter indeed. You have to consider the time of the day. You have to consider the activity of bait fish for large predators. You have to choose carefully the lure that will allow you to get to a big fish. And basically all we know about the game right now, how to catch a trophy or a unique fish, will be history. That's the first part, and the second part, Jason, you talk about detailed statistics. That thing will not be implemented in game directly. Will be implemented by an external application. It's on Workbench, but it's dependent of of server API. So as soon as the API will be released in a couple of weeks, tops separate statistics site with different kind of statistics, not only of statistics on species. You can have statistics on a certain lure or a certain bait. Also, you can see how many fish you get between, I don't know, in a time frame using a certain lure or things like that. You will see, and that will be working, and will be some kind of beta version, and the feedback from community will be collected, and according to community requests will be improved until will be good for everyone, so to speak.
Okay, and I'm glad that you spoke up, Jack, because you reminded me of, hey, I didn't talk about FPIPs and what's going on with that. So the news, because you said you talked to Alex this morning. He never contacted me. So basically, the news guys on FPIPs is everything is ready on our end, and you guys have known for a couple of days now. We're just waiting for Fishing Planet to give us the information that we need. And Alex was reluctant to tell Jack this morning that the information that we need will not be available until next week. So FPIPs will be delayed again another week, and I do apologize for that. I haven't got the official word from Alex himself. This is just through Jack, which Jack and I are working together on this thing. So that's where we are, and I'm reluctant to say that.
Most realistic starting date will be 25th May. So something like 18 days from now. Because after we get what we need from Fishing Planet, we will need a couple of days for intensive testing, and after that at least 1 week, maybe 10 days of
registration.
Of registration, yes.
Yep.
So most likely May 25th will be the starting date. If everything goes as planned, is this third postpone. If I counted right, it's not our fault. We tried, as Jason said, our part of the deal is done. So now we are waiting for the other side to bring in the goodies.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to look at this in a positive way, not a negative way, because I'm trying to be as positive as I can. But the positive thing is, guess what? You're going to have more time to practice. We're going to have more time to run tournaments on my stream and get you guys ready against the masses that will be hopefully competing for this. Because hey, everybody wants to win a gaming chair, especially a DX racer.
And according to what I said a few minutes ago about fundamental changes in the game mechanics, starting from next week, will be a good thing indeed to have some time to practice, because it won't be anymore like it is today. So
no more spreadsheet fishing. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, it's what we asked and dreamed and hoped and whatever from the day one. Okay. Sorry for interruption, Tony.
No. You did good. You did good, Jack. You're eating up time. Maybe Alex will get on, and we covered something that we needed to cover that people have been asking me about for.
I tried a little bit to substitute Alex until he will come, if he will come.
Yeah, like Alex said, kick him in the balls and harder until he give you what you want. So
Yeah, okay.
So anyway,
Go ahead, guys.
Tony, I guess you got the floor, man. Just talk away, man. We're all listening.
Well, I'll hit on what Jack just said. I can agree with just about everything Jack just said, except the word hotspot. The so-called hotspots don't need to go away. Fish stick to cover. Fish stay in a certain area
I've been
for
a
their
little
whole
bit.
lives.
Sorry, Tony. I've been a little bit unclear. I said the hotspot indeed. Now everybody knows that in each location probably are 3 or 4 hotspots. Won't be 3 or 4. Will be probably 25, 30 on each location. And fish will bite and will eat in a certain hotspot according to weather, bait fish activity, time of the day. And in the morning, let's take Missouri. In the early morning, we'll bite and eat the reed on the left side. In the midday, probably in the middle of the water where is that deep hole. In the evening, probably below the trees on opposite shore, something like that. Won't be a certain hotspot for 2 hours in the day. Will be several ones from different time of the day and different weather conditions.
Okay, well,
That makes.
I don't want to. I don't
want
want to talk about what is to come. I want to talk about what is, and I want to talk about. Yeah, we can all daydream about having perfect shit, but until this rolls out and we actually see it, this is all speculation. So I want to talk about what is in the current state of the game. That's why the show is called Weight of the Game, because it's the current state of the game. It's a play on words. So let's talk about the way it is now and how Tony feels about the way it is now versus the way I feel.
I can talk about that without a problem. Actually, the way it is now is and don't get me wrong, I love the game.
Oh, you can say it. It's hot garbage.
It's it leaves a lot to be desired. And I'm gonna go back to what me and you are supposed to be talking about. Okay, giving you a little background. Myself, Jack, Cody, there were several of us, and some of the guys that I see in chat were in the original closed beta.
Palavino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Palavino. There was a bunch of us in TeamSpeak that spoke almost daily with Killer Whale. I mean, he was in telling us what how they got started, what their overall plan was, how excited they were about this, that, and the other thing. We got up to the point that we were supposed to go to closed beta or open beta. We're going to put it on Steam. So we started another account on Steam to check everything out on Steam, and that was a fiasco because Steam's engine didn't like their engine, one thing and another. So it took a little while to work that out. And then we had a schedule to hit open beta. And unfortunately, all of us had to start all over again at 0. Well, we had an insight on what was going on. We already knew what was happening. We knew all the fish places. You read my little fish story.
Yep.
It was. We knew. We'd already been doing it for a couple months. We knew where to go, what to do, and what to think. The night before we went live on open beta, Killer Whale was in TeamSpeak talking with us forever. He finally, I don't know what time he went to bed, and at that time Killer Whale was on a time schedule that was different than the rest of the team. He was on US time and they were on whatever, Russia, Yugoslavia, wherever the heck they're all at. Got it all over everywhere for all I know. Anyway, they were on their time.
Right.
Well, we were up till I'm gonna say midnight our time, and Killer Whale was with us. One of the major things we talked about, and this is where the debate is coming into view. One of the major things we talked about with Killer Whale was how he had the game laid out. He had started with a small lake, and the next one was a little bigger, and a little bigger, and a little bigger, and a little bigger, and then it was California. The purpose behind him doing that, according to him, and it is his dream. The game is his dream. It's his baby. The purpose in doing that was so players could learn how to fish on the small bodies of water. Then they could go to a little bigger body of water and a little bigger body of water, and they would know. The announcement that Jack just told us, 3/4 of the player base are going to be lost right now because they have not learned anything except how to search YouTube and how to search a forum. They've not learned how to catch fish. That is my biggest complaint with the game. Yes, we were all naive as hell, thinking that this would ever happen in our quote unquote information age. Unfortunately, in our information age, nobody wants to put any effort into anything. They want instant gratification. Well, I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. Old saying, it ain't mine. Don't know who said it the first time. Don't really care. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah, that saying's so old. I thought it was Jesus that made that up. But anyway,
it may have been.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So, I almost 100% agree with you. But I'm gonna play devil's advocate. So that was a nice story about whale and all this launching and whatnot. But that was all misconstrued about, people are going to learn how to fish because, they're fishing small bodies of water and then it gets larger and larger. That is the dumbest train of thought I've ever heard in my life. That is not how people learn. That you're when you learned how to fish, Tony. This is just a guess. Your dad taught you, 'cause that's who taught me. That's who most people learn from. Even if that's not who you learn from, just hold on just a second. So you had that older gentleman or that older person in your life that helped you get yourself situated. Now, my idea of this game and what they were shooting for, as far as teaching someone how to fish, well, that has gone up and down and left and right as far as what I think they need to do, and it hasn't been real clear up until this point. And I'm glad that you said that was Killer Whale's idea, because that shit failed. Like you said, it failed miserably because they just go on YouTube, they just go on a spreadsheet, they just do this and that, because we want instant gratification, because we don't care to try and research and whatnot. And my ideas about how to make it so that people learn how to fish are neither here nor there. We ain't going to talk about that because we don't have all day. But what I can tell you is your gripe about videos and spreadsheets and information on forums and things like that, that shit is never going away, man. It is never going away. Now, the counterpoint to this is, do I think you should be able to go on YouTube, watch a 5-minute video on how to catch a unique whatever the fuck you're trying to catch, and go back into the game and do it in 5 minutes? No. That is asinine as hell, and you can barely call it a game at this point. And Alex knows I feel this way, so anybody can rewatch this and quote me on saying it. The problem is the layers of complexity. What you know, and that's why I'm glad you're on my show, what you know about real life and the complexity of real life does not and will not for a long time in this game translate. They got a lot of work before what you know, Tony, translates into the game. Even when they do this major change that Jack is talking about, you're going to see the spawn of spreadsheets. You're going to see the spawn of videos. You're going to see the spawn of forums helping people trying to, pinpoint certain things and this and that. And that is actually never going to go away. It's just how complex will it be? And that's where I think last week or was it last week? Me and my chat kind of got into this discussion, right? So that's what it was. I told Alex his game was bad, and we kind of caught him off guard a little bit. And I said, look, when I talk about gaming, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to gaming, every good game I've ever played, I compare it to chess. Why do I compare it to chess? Because chess is easy to play, hard to master. And when I say hard to master, I mean I'm talking almost impossible to master. And Fishing Planet is so far from that. It's so far from chess, it's not even funny. But they're working on it, and I know that. But I want to be able to compare Fishing Planet to chess. I want anybody to be able to install this game, catch fish, and have fun. But I want the guys like yourself or the guys who are driven, like myself, out there busting their ass to catch the biggest, baddest fish out there. And you need to have to be able to bust your ass, or it's not a game for us. It's a game for somebody else. You can go in and you could probably fish any body of water in the world, Tony. And I'm telling you this as a compliment. You could probably fish any body of water in real life in the world and catch something because you know enough. You have that experience. And you should be able to do that in this game without any experience at all. It's just what type of fish, how large. The knowledge that you have that everyone is striving for in real life and in a game like this is the ability to figure out where the fish are, what they're doing, what they're biting on, all these things that are that should be factoring in that currently are not, to make the game masterable or almost masterable or almost impossible to master, just like chess. So you would be the grandmaster of Fishing Planet because your real life experience would translate into it 1-to-1. Now, will we ever see that product? There's no telling. But you're never going to get away from spreadsheets. You're never going to get away from videos. It's just not going to happen. It's just the complexity in which it happens. Right now, you watch a 5-minute video, go in the game, in 5 minutes, catch the same damn fish. Now, would it be okay with you, Tony, if it was a 45-minute video explaining how to kind of catch that fish, and then the person had to go in and master that? Might take them a couple of hours to master that, and then they get the same result. Is that okay with you, Tony?
I'm on for it. Like I just told you. Don't point your finger where to cast. Teach a man what to look for. I'll go this. Anybody that's listening can do the same thing right now. You can go to the Fishing Planet Wiki right now. Go to largemouth bass as a species. And under that, recommended fishing methods. I tell you in that post what to do to find fish. And that's what you got to learn. I can walk up to any body of water that I want to, and I can stand on the shore if it's a small body of water, or I can take a trip around it in my boat if it's a bigger body of water. And in that trip, I'm going to make a mental note of where I'm going to fish. The truth of the matter is, with fish, regardless of the body of water, whether it's a farm pond, a huge man-made reservoir, or the Pacific Ocean, 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. The rest of that water is for taking a bath, I don't know, water skiing, whatever. But you ain't got no business fishing there until you learn And until this game can get to the point that you have to know what to look for, until the developers place the fish where they should be according to the structure, it will never be a proper fishing simulator. Right now, it's somewhere in between an arcade and a simulator. We don't have a debate, Jason.
Back 1 second, Tony. Okay, first of all, be very careful when you use the word simulator in my chat. And I would not call this in between an arcade and a simulator. I would not call it because I feel like where it should be is in between an arcade and a simulator, actually leaning a little bit towards simulation, not so much towards arcade. I feel like it should be, if it was a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 6.57 towards the simulation side. Right now, I feel like it's almost 100% arcade. With the new fish physics, that knocked it up a little bit, and with the new lure line reel combo thing that people had to figure out which is beyond me. It's super easy, but we're both fishermen. I'm talking about from a gamer standpoint. That's kind of it's not hard to figure out, but it wasn't laid out for people to really be able to understand it very well who aren't fishermen. When they added that kind of knocked it up towards simulation a little bit more. But in my honest opinion, and I told Alex this also, simulation shouldn't be in the game. The word simulator shouldn't be in the title, because you and I both know if you 100% simulated fishing, the only people that would play this are fishermen, and that is not what we are trying to do here. Am I right?
Nope. You're on. Well, see, that's what I was going to say here. We don't have a debate because we both think the same way. But I said somewhere between. I didn't say how close to arcade and how close to simulator. It's way down towards arcade. Okay, yeah. Way down. But I know from talking to them in the very first closed beta that's what they want to do. They're trying to do what you want to do. It should be somewhere in between. Fishing is easy to learn. It is not hard to learn how to fish.
Right.
It really isn't. In real life or in a game, it's not hard to learn how to fish. It is tough to master. There are masters of fishing.
Sure.
I'm not one of them, but there are masters of fishing. And they've got it down to a science. That's the way the game, we can only hope somewhere down the road, will be.
Right.
Catching fish is easy. It is not hard to catch fish. Right. Not at all.
And that's
but
what it.
That's where they need to go with it.
Right. In translating that into the game needs to happen somehow, because until then, we're hanging on this arcade, not simulation at all.
Well, this debate was supposed to be about sharing of information. Here's the problem I've got with that. Sharing of information, I'll tell you what bait will catch a fish on any body of water in the country that I know that bait will catch fish on. Okay?
Yeah.
I've shared that with you. That should be enough. In game, that's not enough. Now we've got chat that the chat room covers the whole body of water.
Right.
Back in the beginning, every time you went to a different fishing spot, peg they called them, I think. I still ain't got that figured out.
Yeah.
But every fishing spot you went to, that's where your chat was on that fishing spot. And the guys and the ones that are here that were around then will tell you, you couldn't fish for the damn people coming into chat asking you where you're fishing, what you're throwing, what color, how far, the whole 9 yards. That's where I have a problem. Number one, it's very inconsiderate and rude as all hell that chat room may have 20, 30 people in it.
Right.
15 of them people may not want that damn information. They may want to. I'll tell you a little joke.
They want to explore for themselves. I got it.
That's right.
I got
it. Just a little short story. Man goes to the fabric shop, tells the lady at the fabric shop he wants to buy some material for his wife's nightgown. Okay, so she takes him over and shows him, picks out the material. This is nice. He said, give me 10 yards of that. The lady looks at him and says, sir, you don't need 10 yards of material to make a nightgown. Why in the world would you want 10 yards? And he said, well, I always had a lot more fun looking for it than I did after I found it.
Right.
Looking for fish is half the fun, people.
Yeah.
That's half of the deal right there. That's
Yes.
where all the fun is in the discovery.
Yes.
The excitement of cast again, and all of a sudden you hook that fish. If you don't get a rush out of that, then you need to go back.
Right. You need to do skydiving or something.
If you don't get you get as big a rush out of catching that first damn 10-pound fish as you'll ever get out of jumping out of an airplane.
Right. I agree. So, on that note, yeah, I could see where you know people coming in and bothering you, but
They do it. They do it today. I saw a post in the forum the other day. Somebody wanting to know where to catch fish in Texas. Damn! If you can't figure out how to catch fish in that mud hole, you ain't never going to catch one.
True. Okay, so everybody knows from watching my stream that very much I can and have spreadsheet fished, as you say, just because it's economical and I like challenging myself to see like if I can get every uni in a spot in a day, or whatever side challenges I come up with in my own brain. But at the same time, I also what I call free fish, which is just regular fishing, which is where I just take a lure to a peg and cast it out. And no matter what time of day it is, no matter what the weather is, and I just see what I pull out. And I have a lot of fun doing that, and I have a lot of fun showing it off. I don't know if my viewers have a lot of fun watching it, because it's not very entertaining. I mean, because I could cast out, like you said, 25 times and not get a single fish.
That's fishing.
Right, and it is fishing. And, that's why I listen to the radio in my chat, and that's why I try to talk to everybody in my chat, because when it comes down to it, this is a fishing game, and it's not super thrilling. Now, we do tournaments and other exciting things, but I feel like if they keep pushing the game the way they are, that we could get it to the point where, there is that feeling of exploration that people want to do. Now, the question is, how do we get there? So, I've talked about this many times, and we're going to talk about it right now because I'm getting excited. How do I want to word this? So, I've broke it down many a times into different layers. This is how I like to look at it, Tony, is different layers. So in your first very basic layer of what is fishing, you name 2 or 3 or 4 things that you need. 1 is your own ass, 2 is your tackle, and 3 is your water. So the game's got that. You're playing, you got your tackle, and you got your water. And then from the next layer up, you have another layer of complexity. Maybe you add something to that, subcategories of certain things, and then another layer gets added on that. And soon you have like this pizza slice where the water, and your tackle is the point of the pizza, and the very end, where it's very layered and complex, where it fans out at the crust, that's your mastery, right? So we need to help Fishing Planet translate those layers. And I'm in talks with Alex right now of how we can make those layers happen in the game. And I feel like having someone like yourself help me on that. And then this is going to be a side project that you and I work on. I want to create infographics. I want to create whatever we need to get this language translated into what we kind of want to see in the game. Because this isn't, I'm telling you right now, this isn't the opinion of you. That's the opinion of one guy or a couple of guys in beta testing, right? You all kind of probably thought the same. Well, I'm telling you what, I'm a filter of thoughts because I'm one dude who sees a bunch of dudes talking about this game all day long. And everybody wants the same exact thing that you and I want, Tony. And if we utilize that, you and I, and the experts that we are, I'm an expert gamer, you're an expert fisherman. If we take that and smash it together and create these ideas, I think we could really help the FP team out. Plus, here's the thing. Here's the thing. People wrote in the Steam forums. They said, "Who is Genie and who is Achilles?" They didn't spell my name right, but whatever. And the guy said, "Why do they have so much influence over the game?" And I thought about that just for a second, and I said, "Well, damn, I don't have any influence over the game at all. But what I do have is a voice that I use, and other people use me to use my voice. They come in my chat and they give me an idea, or they strike me up with an idea, or they give me this, or they give me that, and then I take that and I work on it. I'm like, I beat it until it either disappears or I make something out of it, and then I present it to Alex. I do that. I've done that a ton. I've done that since the beginning, and I know you have too. I mean, you've been testing for forever. Like you said, you had 4 or 5 accounts. But what have you learned? What have they learned from that? In my opinion, all that work is being kind of wasted. I don't feel like anything is happening in the right direction. You know, I've been dealing with damn sturgeon breaking my reel for like 5 weeks. Why? Why am I still dealing? I told Alex straight up, dude, this is the biggest version of anti-fun you could possibly have in your game. That was 2 weeks ago. Go in there and fix that shit immediately, because I'm telling you that just little things like that are making people quit. People coming in the game, and new players coming in the game and not understanding rod, reel, and line because there's no tutorials, there's no explanation, because they're not fishermen, they're gamers. Those people are quitting. And what you think you're going to get those people back? They're going to install the game, play for 5 minutes, and quit. And they're never coming back because they uninstalled it, and they're never going to install it again. Nothing is going to make them install it again. You can't be losing people like that.
Okay, give me a minute. Number one, you hit the nail on the head, and I have been working with them a lot, one-on-one with Alex, one-on-one with Killer Whale. I'm just beginning to meet some of the other developers. The problem is, I think, more in coding than anything. It's difficult. It's hard enough because of the language barrier to get things through like it should be. But the biggest problem, and I have told them, everyone, right to their face, the biggest problem they got in this game right now is the drag system, and until they get that fixed, the rest of it is a waste of time.
Yeah.
If you don't get the base core of the game working right, you're never going to have a game. Right now, I should be able to take 20-pound tackle and catch any freaking fish in this game.
Easy.
Period.
Yeah. No, I know that. And We can't even talk about, like I said, the pizza layers. We can't talk about those. We can't talk about the pepperoni because we ain't got the cheese on yet. We ain't got the bread down. The bread being your ass, the tackle, and the water.
The crust is what you got to start with, and right now we don't have a crust.
Right.
If you ain't got the dough ready, you can't put the toppings on it.
Right.
And right now the dough's not ready. And Jack will tell you, Cody will tell you, all these guys will tell you, we've been trying for a year to get it understood that the drag on a reel is not a brake, it is a clutch.
Right.
Okay? Right now, in game, if I've got a reel with maximum of 20-pound drag, and I've got let's say 22-pound drag, okay, and I've got 20-pound line on it, and a 2-pound fish bites. If I lock the drag down, I get instant something breaking, line, rod, reel. That just don't happen at all. I can lock 20-pound line down, and I can flip a 5-pound fish in the boat. I can not tell you how many 5 and 6-pound fish I have flipped in a boat with a lockdown reel, and nothing breaks.
Right. Yeah, and dude, we could talk about shitty mechanics all day. That's not what I want to focus on. And like I said, you can turn me down, but what I want to know is if you and I, and the expert that you are a fisherman, and the expert that I am a gamer, and then the fact that you have all this game experience, being a beta tester, being an alpha tester, playing it 100 times over, 5 times over, whatever you've played it, plus the fact that I'm literally a human filter for ideas, we can really help flesh this thing out, man. Because I feel like if I don't do the justice that I feel like this game deserves, then I have failed myself, because I want this game to succeed so bad it's not even funny. I want Alex has talked about the future and whatnot, and everything that he says gets me hype as shit. Everything that he says. And I know he's a PR man, and that's his job. But every idea that he says, I want to see fleshed out. From this this point where we're at now, Tony, I can't see the means to the end. I cannot see how we get from point A to point B. So we need to figure this shit out.
Yep, you went away on me there, but that's exactly right. We got to get it figured out, and I try to talk to them and tell them what it should be. And I know that they're working on a project now that this project has got to be done right. If it's not done right, then there's no point.
Right.
We're just going to have a bigger mud hole.
Right.
That's all there is to it. It's got to be done correctly, and it's going to take time to do it correctly. Unfortunately, everybody's screaming they won't new this, they won't new that, they won't new whatever. So they're trying to appease these steam screamers, but people, there ain't no point in throwing it in there if it's not right. If you're gonna have a fishing game, then you should be able to, one, get in the game and easily catch fish. And as you learn the game, you should be able to catch bigger fish.
Right.
And as you learn where these bigger fish are, you should have the patience to fish there to catch even bigger fish. And I hope to God, when gold goes away, and it's gonna go away, okay?
We know that.
When gold goes away, I hope to God the word unique goes away. Because I'm going to tell you something, people. I've been fishing for 50 years, and I have never caught a unique fish. I haven't caught a fish with 2 heads, 2 tails, legs, arms. That would be a unique fish.
All right.
A 15-pound fish is just a bigger trophy. There ain't nothing unique about it.
Right. Well, I mean, and we talked about different categorization, and I don't know if taking away, I see where you're coming from, Tony, but I don't know if taking away a unique, the unique status as being the answer to something, maybe adding another stage, like you know how we have young. Well, I mean, young is whatever. Like when I catch a young fish, I always release it. I feel terrible. I feel like an asshole if I don't release it. But that's good. That's good because like that means that it's conveying that it's it's a fish maybe that you shouldn't keep. Because the word young. So I think that the wording needs to reflect the fish. So like you said, Tony's never caught a unique fish. So what?
Actually, that's a lie. I have caught a unique fish. I've caught several of them.
Okay. And what made that fish unique for you, Tony?
That fish was unique. According to the Florida Fish and Game Commission, it is a 1 in 400 fish. It is called a pug-nosed bass. I have asked a biologist what caused it. I have done some research on it.
Okay.
And actually, the best answer that I can get from them is that at some point during the development of that egg, there was a severe drop in temperature, and the upper jaw of that fish did not develop. Okay. If you want to Google it, you will find that there are largemouth bass, striped bass, trout. There are several other species that have the problem, but the fish looks like a bulldog if you look him in the face. His lower jaw, I've caught him that the lower jaw, when the mouth was closed, would almost hide the eyes.
Right.
It is one but ugly damn fish.
Okay. So that's okay.
But
So
that is unique.
Right. So perfect example. I was thinking something more aesthetically pleasing, but yeah, there's a perfect example. And so is the word unique getting beat up? Yes. The word unique is getting absolutely beat up because like you said, that's not a fucking unique. That's just a larger fish. So could they do some more things to spice it up? When you catch a unique, make it truly feel like a unique experience. Like, holy shit, what is wrong with this fish? Give it, I don't care if it's got a crazy ass name, pug nose, smug nose, Altoid, whatever. I don't care what it is. Make it feel unique. Make the fish have scars on it from getting in other fights, or make the scales of the fish, beat up or different color or something. I'm not talking about catching fucking dragons, okay? I'm talking about shit that albino fish. That shit happens. Albino fish happen just like human albinos happen. That to me is a unique fish. Make it
okay. Well, the word unique is the problem. Here, most states in the United States, you have a trophy fish, and if you catch, say, just using largemouth bass as an example, you can use any fish if you want to. But you got your regular fish, you got your young fish, you got your regular fish, you got your trophy fish, and then you have a citation fish.
Right.
A fish over certain weight in that state. The state will issue you a citation. It's actually done right there at the damn tackle shop. But
right. Yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
You can get a citation with that fish. Mm-hmm. That's the word that needs to be there. Something along those lines.
Right.
But unique, it's just the wrong word.
Right. So no. What I'm saying is, it can still be there. It just needs to change what it means. So you got, like you said, young, normal, trophy, citation, unique, or unique / monster. Maybe we can add the word monster in there and, not make it feel cheesy, but hey, this is like, according to the record books, there's never been a fish caught this big, and as long as it's not beat up and overused like it is now, where I can go to Michigan right now, log in and see, 5 uniques pop up in 15 minutes. What the fuck? That's not unique. That ain't special at all. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Ain't got 2 heads. It ain't unique.
Right. So I think they could do a lot to remedy that point. Also, and
let's get back just a minute to what we were talking about. The I listened to your list of things the game needed a while ago, and they were all, well, most of them were within reason. But the very, very biggest thing that I saw that was not on that list was tutorials. Man,
Okay, no, but
there's
those
nothing.
those are on the roadmap. It has to be something that's not on the roadmap. Tutorials are on the roadmap.
Yeah, well, okay, they're on the roadmap. They've
Right.
been on the roadmap for
I
a
know.
year. It's
Right,
time for them to start happening.
Right, that don't mean much. I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying, no, you're absolutely correct. Tutorials that was one of the things I didn't want to get into as far as helping new players out is like tutorials and shit, because I think we all could, I know you and I could just sit here and talk all day about what we expect to see in tutorials. You know what I mean? As far as, translating real life fishing into what this game is.
Yeah, and that's the problem I've got with the way things are right now. Nobody's learning anything
Right.
except how to search YouTube, Twitch, and how to go to the forum and search
Whoa,
the forum
whoa, whoa.
and find out
Whoa,
where
back
to
up.
go.
Back up. Don't include me into that category, sir.
I didn't include you. I said they search Twitch.
Yeah, I'm a Twitch streamer.
Hush. Well, touch you. I'm a YouTube streamer and I got a YouTube channel. Had a YouTube channel forever. But
Why are you part of the problem,
don't-
Tony?
You don't find point and catch videos on my YouTube, and I haven't found a point and catch video on your streams. Maybe I'm not looking in the right place. There it is. I haven't learned how to search good enough.
No, you're right. I don't do that.
I've seen you fishing, and I've seen you make 100 damn casts and not catch a fish. You're fishing.
Right.
That's what fishing's all about. You're not supposed to go in there and make 3 casts and catch a damn unique between 7 and 8 o'clock and fast forward the day 24 hours and do it again.
Right. Oh,
That's
so you've
not
seen
fishing.
me. Oh, you've seen me fish then.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had been
Oh,
in my
yeah.
channel.
I don't necessarily have to get in your channel to watch your stream.
Okay. I mean, I got a lot of creepers, dude. You ain't gotta tell me, but yeah, I don't. You're right. I don't go here, do this, fast forward this time, do this, unless I'm trying to achieve something or I'm actually experimenting. Because a lot of people, like you said, they want to know even more in depth things, like what's the best crank for this, or what's the best spinner for this type of fish, and I like even finding that information out for people. I mean, in this current state of the game, why the fuck not? But in the future, I think it still will be something that is very much desirable. There's going to be a lot of things that are second nature, like you and I know, and all the other fishermen know. Hey, I know that this type of fish likes this type of lure, and they like it presented this type of way, and bam, that's going to catch you some fish. Now, the level of detail in that is where it's important.
Well, in the real fishing world, there are locator baits. Okay, that's
Right.
what I call them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're really called, but example, lipless crankbaits, spinner baits, buzz baits. Those are 3 locator baits. You will get a fish to react to a crankbait, a buzz bait coming across the surface, a spinner bait. Once you get them to react to that bait, then you start washing baits.
Right.
You try to tune it to find what they really want,
Right.
because there is something that they really want to feed on.
Right.
And that's what's got to come into the game if it's going to be a fishing game.
And see, this is what's crazy. All this stuff that I do, or all the stuff you're talking about that I know, I translate it into the game when I'm streaming. Like, even though I know this shit ain't in the game, I try to make it as real life as if I was really there. So, like, if I get a snag, right? But it not a snag, but I get like a bump or a snag or whatever it is when your meters flash, I'll tell myself and I'll tell the stream, hey, if fish are interested in this, I'm gonna change the color. Even though it probably doesn't mean a fucking thing to the fish that are actually there, or whatever, and miss strike or whatever, I'll still change color because I want to.
Actually, it does.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad, but most people don't know that.
That miss strike. Now I'm going back a ways, but Jack can tell you this. He can back me up on this if he's still here. And
Yeah, I'm here.
when we went to California the first time and started catching the unique stripers,
Yeah,
we had a lot of false bites. Strikes didn't hit the bait.
right.
I learned something from that. I didn't share it with everybody because that's me. I don't share it with everybody. But I learned something from that. I got to the point that I knew where I needed to make my next cast by that artificial bite or false bite, or my strike indicator jumped out of the sky. Because at that time, the way the fish were spawning into the game, one would spawn here, the next one that spawned might spawn 10 feet further away from you, or 20 further away from you, or 30 further away from you. I actually learned from those false bites where to make my next cast.
Right.
And if I ever got the first false bite, I knew where to go from there. But I'm breaking my arm, pat myself on the back here, but I'm very observant about what goes on around me in the real world
Yeah,
and in the game.
Well, yeah, I mean that's dude. That's a characteristic that comes just from being a fisherman, observing patterns and things like that. Because we often repeat the same areas that we fish multiple times on the same pond, lake, whatever, mud hole, like you said. So we pick up on patterns very quickly, even if it's over a year's period, where last year I went here and did this, and then this year I'm trying this, but I recognize the patterns from last year, and blah 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 blah. We're humans. We all do that. Some are better at picking it up, and some aren't. I would consider myself good at picking up patterns. I was one of the original people to create spreadsheets. I mean, I know you're going to hate me for that, but I was one of the original people to create spreadsheets. And it was because of different patterns and whatnot. I'm not talking about just the unique catch spreadsheets. I created, well, shit, I could share with you later, but I created a lot of stuff for my own good. I mean, I still have databases that I still reference now, looking at what is enticing to certain fish in the game, because a lot of this isn't one-to-one translation in real life. From what I know, I've had to change what I know in real life a little bit to play this game, and I'm sure you have too. But I write all that down because it's important to me, and not only is it important to me, but it's important to my show, because you got to understand, I'm here to be entertaining also. If I'm not doing entertaining things, or at least being educational or whatnot, people are not going to stick around. So there's multiple layers of why I do what I did, and plus I want to help. I want everybody to be able to go in and be a good fisherman, which that I have to remember that at my core, which is why I started the whole thing.
Well, you want them to be a good fisherman, but in order for them to be a good fisherman, you got to teach them how to fish.
Right, but I do.
That's
There's
what
been so
I
many
mean.
people who come in to my channel and they say, I keep breaking all my shit. I don't understand what's going on. And I say, well, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to help you out. Now, that hurts me to hear that. It hurts me to hear that because, you know what? That player could have just uninstalled the game and never come back. But instead, he wants to fish so bad, he just doesn't understand what the hell is going on. And he just happened to stumble upon me. And I've even had worst case scenarios where the person comes in and they're like, "Oh, I tried to play this game, but I quit because everybody in the chat was a dick to me." What? I've never experienced anybody. Okay, two. But I've been playing this game a long time. Two people in this chat that I've only have one person on my ignore list out of everybody that I've met in Fishing Planet, and that's because they were blatantly attacking me and saying sexual things. I don't know who it was, I ignored them, and that was all there was to it, and I moved on. And the other one was, so it was a low-level random account player, just being dirty and nasty to everybody, not just myself. But this person comes into my chat and says, I can't. No one will help me. No one will help me in my chat. I tried to ask for help, and everybody just was mean to me. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn, it was not like that when I came up through the levels. And maybe because I wasn't the one asking questions, I was the one answering them. But that shit hurt my feelings, because I know that if we don't capture those little sprouting fishermen, Tony, we ain't gonna have nobody to fish against, man. It's gonna be me and you playing this game. That's it.
Well, you're going to lose.
That's fine.
No, what happens in chat, and I can tell you because I've been there, what happens in chat, and don't get me wrong, I'll help anybody. I really will. I'll help anybody hunting. I'll help anybody fishing. I'll help anybody with anything I can. But they're going to have to put forth a little effort on their own first.
Sure.
The guys that people have problem with in chat is the name pops into chat. He ain't been in there 15 seconds. What do I need to cast here to catch fish? Well, there's a pause. Nobody wants to answer him.
Right.
No, I can tell you why nobody wants to answer him. You tell them, okay, you need to throw a 1 ounce jig. Okay, that should be sufficient right there.
Right.
But it's not. The next question is,
Where
do I throw it?
Right. In the water.
So if you ever answer one question, your whole fishing day is screwed, because this guy is going to hound the shit out of you until you tell him everything you've learned
Right.
in the game.
Well,
You got to tell him where. He'll want a damn screenshot of where you're casting. Just telling him ain't good enough. What size line, what rod and reel you're using, what time of day you're fishing, is it cloudy or sunny? They will not stand for just one answer. I've seen it 1,000 times. Well, I'm going to tell you, most fishermen, true fishermen, have got all the patience in the world.
Right.
But you can push a man to his limit, and after 10 or 15 damn questions, and you hadn't been able to fish for 15 minutes, which is an hour in game for trying to give this guy instant satisfaction, people get tired of it.
Yeah, sure.
And
I agree.
and the other 15 people in that chat room that don't want to know, they get tired of people coming in and asking, because they don't want to know. They have to close their chat because they don't want to see where to cast, what color to cast, what time of day to cast, whether it's cloudy or sunny. They want to find it out for themselves.
Well,
That's where the problem comes in with people getting rude in chat.
yeah, that too. But I mean, in this situation, I assumed the person was just literally getting flamed, not like, he was bugging them, but he was like, hey guys, I keep breaking my line. I don't understand why. And then people, treated him badly, So I think there's two different versions of what we're talking about. What you're talking about, yes, is annoying.
Well, you heard his side of the story. You don't know what
True.
he was actually doing.
True.
So,
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He could have been in there annoying people. And I think the private rooms have definitely helped to remedy that, because now you can just go on the shore, no chat. You can just fish and just be by yourself. Friends only room, another great feature. That's helped me run many tournaments, because now I don't have the jargon of everybody else talking and bullshit and catching this and catching that. I can say, hey guys, join my friend's room. We're going to have a largemouth bass tournament in Florida. Come on in. Everybody that wants to play, join up. And then all I got to see is what everybody on my friends list is catching, and I can organize and keep track of who's caught what. And it makes it very nice for me. But
and believe me, we've asked for this since the first day of open beta.
Right. I mean,
Since the very first day.
As far as the chat goes, not to try to be like a policeman or whatnot, but I do have a secondary account that is a little bit lower that I log in and I just go around and see who's saying what and what pegs, and it makes it a lot easier now because you can, it's like for the whole area, and like I said, for the most part, everybody seems to be fairly helpful. Which that's another thing about this, Tony, is as this game grows, you got to understand that the community will change. People talk about the nasty community that League of Legends has, and the nasty community that Call of Duty has, and the nasty community da 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 da. Well, the reason why is because they're so popular, and there's so many idiots out there that they're going to be there. So the more we push Fishing Planet to become more popular, the more we're going to see of that, and that's why
I'm not going to see it because I'm not going to go in open chat and deal with it.
No, I know, but
And I'm
saying,
not antisocial, and I'm going to tell you, and you already know it. Most fishermen are really friendly guys.
Yeah,
They really are.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go out here to a lake and you run into somebody at a tackle shop, or on the shore of the lake, or stand on the dock, or another fisherman out there in the boat, they're real friendly. They'll help you,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
they ain't going to take you to their secret fishing hole. They'll tell you what
Well, it
bait
depends
to
on
throw,
how many beers
what
they
section of the
had.
lake you should be fishing in. I ain't taking you as a guide, okay? As a guide, and I did guide for 12 years, okay? I had a lot of customers that would come to Florida and stay for a week, and they'd fish with me for one day, okay?
Uh-huh.
If they fished with me for one day, and I got up the next morning to take my next customer out, and I found them sitting on my fishing hole, they was going to get a piece of my mind.
Right.
Okay, I spent hundreds of dollars in fuel, hundreds of hours on the water, looking for fish because people are paying me to catch them fish.
Right.
I didn't have just one place that I went. I had many. But on the other side of that coin, if a guy called me up and said, Tony, I'm going to be here for a week. I'd like to fish with you for a day to get an idea of where to fish, where to catch fish. I don't have a problem with that. I'll take him and show him 24 damn places he can catch fish.
Right.
Am I going to take him and show him where I'm going to fish? No, I'm not. But I'll see to it that he catches fish for his whole week.
Right. But it's never going
And let me tell you. You know what that accomplished for me? Not only did I have them people back next year, okay, but when the last day before they got ready to leave from their week of fishing, Tony, if you got a minute, I need to show you something today. I run into a mess of damn big bass. They're leaving. They don't care. I've had them take me to spots that I've never even thought about fishing that were full of 7 to 9 pound largemouth bass.
As I said, versatility. It helps you be versatile. Because it didn't matter what was going on. You knew a spot where something was going on.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
if I go somewhere and sit down and anchor up in the morning, if I'm there an hour and I ain't caught a fish, then I don't need to be there no more because they ain't gonna eat.
Exactly. Later.
We need to go somewhere else, folks. This ain't working.
Yeah, I got you.
But believe me, I've seen it all.
Right, and that real life, what I don't even want to call you old, but that's very old thinking as far as video games go. I'm gonna give you two examples of awesome.
I am old. You can call me old if you want to.
No, it's not fair because I feel
I
old too, and I don't want to be.
I don't
old
have
yet.
a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm still 32 years young, but so as far as like the information and whatnot in this fishing game and making it as complex as possible, there's a really good example. There was a book written about the power of people, and the example was there was a pharmaceutical company that couldn't figure out this virus. So one of their lead engineers had talked to some programmers who put the virus in a virtual in a virtual like type puzzle type of thing, and then they put all the combinations that could solve all the different combinations that could possibly solve the puzzle, and then they release it to the public. And they had been working on to break this virus down. They had been working on it for, I want to say, like a year and a half, 2 years. And the general public of gamers that participated, it was like 40, 50,000 people participated in this. They cracked it in like 2 days because it was a game, it was fun, and there were so many of them working on it. So my point being is, if you translate that to Fishing Planet, no matter how complex you and I could come up in making that pizza, we could make it as 10 layers, super complex. People are going to figure it out. And the other example is Easter eggs that game developers put in games. There's a few, very, 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 very few that were never found, and game developers had to actually say, hey, this was in there, you guys never found it. But for the most part, even the most in-depth ones, people find. And that's because people just do that. Like you said, they're looking for patterns. They're looking for something. And we just need to get Fishing Planet in a state where 10 people can't figure out Unitimes, or whatever we call them, in 5 minutes. We need it so that 100,000 people are all searching for the same thing, and only a couple of them can find it. And when they do find it, they only know part of the reason why. And they're going to go and talk about that, because we are not going to be able to stop that, Tony. They're going to go and talk about that.
No, we can't stop it, but we can't stop it. But
we can make it hard.
A fish, yes, we can make it hard. A fish is a predator, okay? I have never seen a fish that I could go there between 7 and 8 o'clock in the evening on a cloudy day and catch that fish. If somebody else has come by there at 4 o'clock and put a bait close enough to him, he'll eat it.
Right.
They're predators.
Right.
They're if an easy meal comes by, they're going to eat it. They're not waiting on 7 o'clock in a cloudy day. They'll eat it.
Right. Well,
the first thing they need to do in this game is throw away the frickin' time clock.
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. We don't have enough time to talk about what they need to do. But my point is that it just needs to be. I'm trying to get you to agree with me that it needs to be so complex, almost so complex, or just complex enough that the fisherman can only briefly describe why he caught what he caught. Like you said, you want to be surprised. You want to know your basics. What? No?
It don't need to be complex. It needs to be simple.
No, it needs.
It's real simple. If somebody drags a lure in front of that fish, at 7:30 in the morning, he's going to eat it. If you drag a lure by that fish at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he's going to eat it. Then there will be no 5-minute video on where to catch this fish, because you're going to have to spend a day on the water to figure out getting a lure close enough to this fish for him to catch it.
Okay, sure. But again, it's
KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
No. It's never going to be that way. It's never going to. It can't. It can't be simple, because if it's simple, this is why. Because it's programming and it's patterns and it's numbers, and you can't take that from real life and translate it into a video game unless you make things very, very complex. You can't keep it simple.
Then we can't have a simulator.
We can have a simulator. We just can't have it one-to-one real life simulation, because, like you said, then you'd have days on the lake where you don't catch nothing. And that is not going to fly in a video game, buddy, because no one's going to play it. I mean, you and I might, but
I understand that.
Majority of people are not going to play it. So,
well,
it just, I know what you mean. Keep it simple. And yes, keep it simple for the majority of fish. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for, you know, okay, so could a level 1 noob go to Missouri and catch a trophy bass? Yes. I'm not saying that
Yep.
they couldn't. I'm not saying that they couldn't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying their statistical chances of catching that trophy bass need to be slim. Now, as you go down the pizza slice and get more towards the crust like you and I are, that chance should go up. Not a ton, but it should go up. And if we nail everything 100% perfect, whatever that may be, we don't. The cool thing is that I'm trying to describe is we don't even know why it was 100% perfect. We just knew all the conditions were right and everything was good, and we did everything. Our cast was perfect, and blah 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 blah, and we got that monster, or we got that trophy, or whatever it is.
All right, hang on a minute.
Oh God, what?
It's I just been called the second time for dinner. The dogs are fixing to eat
Oh,
my dinner.
okay. So you got to go before your wife
I
beats
should-
you.
I should- No, I don't have a wife. I'll be back shortly.
Well, I'm gonna end the show because we've been dragging on too long. But I'm sure we'll talk again. But it was exciting, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And Alex is nowhere to be found. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. But hopefully he's all right because this is very unlike him. So thank you for being on the show with me, Tony and Jack, and everybody else that joined in and watched. And like I said, I knew this conversation was going to be long-winded. I knew we were going to see different sides of things, and this is really good because I like hammering things out, and I think the guys enjoy listening to us for our expertise. You know, you are respected by me, and I feel like my viewers respect you also, Tony, for your expertise, and I feel like they feel the same way about me in my gaming expertise. So, again, thank you for being on the show, and you're welcome in my Discord anytime, buddy. And I hope to see you in FP tournaments when they're good and ready, and if you want to get your butt spanked, of course. So that's going to end the Way to the Game show. Like I said, thank you guys, and I'm going to be going offline for a little bit. You know,
we have just confirmed that you have not read much of the chat tonight in the stream.
No, why?
You said we respect you.
Oh, thanks, Hugh. Appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate. Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't. I do want to apologize. I wasn't reading chat. You know why? Because I was very intently listening to Tony. Because I respect him, and I respect him, and I respect him, and I was ready to put up a massive fight against him. And I'm glad that we kind of felt the same way, and there wasn't this big divide between us. You know, obviously he's a little more old-fashioned than me.
No old-fashioned, just a bit older.
Right, he's older. Yeah, older for sure. And
no, we were discussing your ability to teach how to fish.
yeah, like I said,
Yesterday's
it was just a really good
tournament there where we lost was it 0-20 fish.
right. No, it was just a really good discussion. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get off here, guys. I'm gonna go eat and whatnot. But I'll be back on later tonight, probably playing some Farming
Yeah, I
Simulator.
probably won't.
All right, Shu.
Go to bed in a bit.
All right. Well, I'll catch you guys later.
Oh yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Now you're live.
I am. Okay. Hi. Test. 1. Okay. That should work.